Your excuses don't matter, your execution does. That's the sentence. That's the reality. It doesn't matter how good your ideas are, how much potential you have, how much you're trying. None of that pays the bills. None of that changes your life. None of that earns respect. Execution is what separates the talkers from the doers. It's what turns dreams into results. Look, life's unfair. Everyone has something they're dealing with. Maybe you had a rough upbringing. Maybe you've been overlooked, underestimated, or even flat out ignored. That sucks truly, but here's the cold truth. The world isn't pausing for your pain. It's not adjusting for your anxiety. It's not slowing down just because you're overwhelmed. This is not a video game where someone hits pause until you feel better. It keeps going, and while you're sitting in your head making excuses, someone else is executing with less than you have. You might have every reason in the world to feel stuck. You might be right about how unfair your situation is. You could write a book about it, and people might even read it and feel sorry for you, but sympathy doesn't build a business. Feeling sorry for yourself doesn't get you paid. It doesn't get you healthy. It doesn't get you respected. It keeps you exactly where you are, frustrated, behind, and tired of starting over. You say you're trying. That's cute. Trying is a nice word, but trying isn't the same as doing. Telling yourself, at least I tried, is just a warm blanket to make failure feel cozy. It's not that you tried, it's that you didn't commit. You didn't go all in. You dipped your toe in the water, didn't like the temperature, and walked away. And now you want credit for the attempt. Nah, you don't get trophies for intentions. You get results for execution. You say, I'm too tired. Good, so is everyone. That's the game. You're tired, work anyway. You're overwhelmed, work anyway. You're scared, work anyway. You think people who are crushing it feel 100% every day. No, but they show up. They don't need a perfect emotional state to execute. They've built the muscle of discipline. They've trained themselves to move regardless of mood, and that's what you need to understand. If you only move when you feel like it, you'll lose. You'll always lose to the person who's willing to move no matter what. Execution doesn't care about your emotions. It doesn't wait for motivation. It demands consistency. It demands sacrifice. And it rewards the ones who do it even when they're tired, even when they're afraid, even when nobody's clapping. You're probably thinking, well, that's harsh. Yeah, it is, but I'm not here to make you feel better. I'm here to wake you up. You don't need comfort, you need clarity. The moment you stop obsessing over how hard things are and start obsessing over how hard you're willing to work, everything shifts. You stop blaming and start building. There's power in ownership. When you own your life, when you stop pointing fingers and start pointing thumbs, you get your power back. The second you say, this is on me, you become unstoppable. Because now you're not waiting. Now you're not relying on luck, on someone else's permission, on some magical moment. You're in control, and control is everything. You know what's ironic? The second you stop making excuses, you actually start making progress. Excuses are a leash. They tie you to your past. They lock you in place. But when you cut them loose and just start doing the work relentlessly, obsessively, daily, you rise, you level up, you earn. That's the difference, not luck, not connections, not circumstances, execution. So what are you going to do today? Keep explaining why it's not working, or finally start doing what you know needs to be done? You've got time, you've got the internet, you've got access to every tool you could possibly need. You've got your phone, your mind, your hands. That's enough to start. If you don't use what you have, you don't deserve more. That's the uncomfortable truth. Excuses are everywhere, but so is opportunity. You just have to choose what you're going to focus on, the pain or the progress, the excuse or the effort, the reason it didn't happen or the work that makes it happen. It's on you. It's always been on you. So no more stories, no more maybe tomorrow, no more but what if. The answer is simple. It's always been simple. Your excuses don't matter. Your execution does. You are not entitled to success. That sentence alone could save people years of frustration if they actually let it sink in. Just because you wake up early, work hard, post content, read books, or even want it bad, doesn't mean success is guaranteed. Life doesn't hand out rewards for effort, it rewards results. You can work for 10 hours a day and still lose if you're working on the wrong things. You can hustle all you want, but if you're not building something that actually creates value, you're just keeping busy, not building success. This generation, especially with how fast social media moves, has started to blur the line between effort and entitlement. There's this dangerous belief floating around that just wanting something enough should make it yours. You think because you struggled, because you tried, because you failed a few times and kept going, you deserve to win now. That's not how the world works. Success is not a vending machine where you put in hours and get out greatness. It's messy, it's unpredictable, it's brutal, and it doesn't care how long you've been grinding. Let's be real. You've probably heard the phrase, "I've worked so hard, I deserve this." That's emotion talking. That's ego. The market doesn't care how hard you worked. It only cares if you delivered. If your product sucks, if your content doesn't hit, if your skills don't evolve, you're going to get left behind, no matter how passionate you are. The world doesn't operate on fairness, it operates on performance. Your ideas, your effort, your intentions, they're invisible to most people. All they see is what you produce. That's the harsh reality. That's the game. Entitlement is subtle. It sneaks in when you've been doing something for a while and you haven't seen the outcome you hoped for. That bitterness starts to grow. You start blaming the algorithm, your parents, the system, your followers, your coworkers, everyone but yourself. You think the universe is against you. No, you're just not there yet. You don't earn success by being around it. You don't earn it by watching motivational videos or talking about goals. You earn it by showing up relentlessly, improving every time, adapting, learning, and doing it all again when no one's watching. The truth is, you're owed nothing, not $1, not one follower, not one client, not one like. The moment you accept that, you take all your power back, because now it's not about what the world gives you. It's about what you go out and earn. The second you stop waiting to be rewarded for trying and start earning through actual execution, your whole mindset changes. You start playing the long game. You stop crying over setbacks and start using them as strategy. You get dangerous, you get focused, and here's another thing. Being talented doesn't entitle you either. There are millions of talented people out there who will never be successful because they think their skills alone should carry them. But success doesn't just care about talent, it cares about consistency. It cares about discipline. It cares about how well you can take a punch and still show up. You've got to be okay with failing in front of people, with looking stupid sometimes, with grinding in silence while others get applause. That's the difference between those who grow and those who stay bitter. Success also has a price. It requires sacrifice, patience, humility, and a ridiculous level of self-awareness. You can't fake your way through it. You can't cheat your way into it, and if by some chance you do, it won't last, because real success requires the kind of growth that can't be skipped. If you try to skip the work, skip the pain, skip the boring reps, it shows. It always shows, so stop expecting life to hand you what you haven't earned. Stop believing the world owes you something because of your effort. The moment you stop thinking success is something that's supposed to happen to you and start seeing it as something you build, brick by brick, day by day, you win. That mindset shift alone will separate you from 90% of people who are still waiting for things to happen for them instead of making things happen through them. You are not entitled to success. You are only entitled to the opportunity to pursue it. What you do with that opportunity, that's what defines you, not your background, not your passion, not how many motivational books you've read. Just execution, just results, just action. So put your head down, get to work, don't ask for guarantees, earn them. Pain is part of the process, and the sooner you accept that, the stronger you become. Too many people treat pain like a problem, like something that shouldn't be there, like something to be avoided at all costs. But the truth is, pain is the price of growth. It's the toll you pay on the road to anything great. You don't get strength without struggle. You don't build muscle without resistance. You don't grow character in comfort. Everything meaningful you want in life sits behind some level of pain, not the kind that destroys you, but the kind that refines you. Most people think if something hurts, it's a sign to stop, but real winners see pain as a signal to push. They've trained their minds to reinterpret discomfort as data. If it's hard, it probably matters. If it's challenging, it probably counts. The work that hurts is usually the work that builds, but only if you choose to use it. Pain by itself doesn't guarantee progress. It only creates opportunity. Whether you turn that pain into power or pity is completely up to you. Pain is not a punishment, it's feedback. It's showing you where you're weak, where you're soft, where you still have room to level up. You can't improve anything you don't notice, and pain makes sure you notice. It points directly at the gaps in your mindset, in your skill set, in your discipline, and if you're smart, you don't run from that, you use it, you face it head on, you let it sharpen you, you want to be great. Then be ready to suffer for it. Be ready for early mornings when your eyes burn. Be ready for late nights when your energy's gone but the work isn't done. Be ready for the failure that stings, the rejections that cut deep, the silence when nobody claps for your efforts. Be ready to feel lonely, frustrated, overlooked. That's part of it. That's the cost, but that's also where the magic happens. Because pain is not just something to survive. It's something to grow through. Think about every meaningful moment in your life. Every breakthrough, every win, every leap forward. Now trace it back. Almost always it started with some kind of pain. Maybe it was heartbreak. Maybe it was betrayal. Maybe it was rock bottom, but that pain cracked you open and forced you to rebuild. It stripped away the comfort. It forced you to evolve, and that's the point. Pain has a purpose when you don't waste it. But most people waste it. They numb it, escape it, bury it. They don't want to feel it, so they run to distractions, to addictions, to denial. They pretend everything's fine while their life quietly falls apart. They want growth without the grind, but that doesn't exist. The people you admire, the ones who made it happen, they felt pain too. They just didn't quit. They didn't numb it. They didn't turn into victims. They turned into warriors. They let that pain light a fire in them. Pain creates urgency. Pain wakes you up. When you're too comfortable, you get lazy, you coast, you make excuses, but pain reminds you something needs to change. It gives you clarity, it burns away the nonsense and forces you to focus. It's your mind's way of saying, pay attention, this matters, and when you listen to it instead of running from it, you find your edge. There's no growth in a straight line. There's no success without struggle. You grow by surviving hard things. You grow by enduring what most people avoid. You grow by showing up when it would be easier to quit. And the truth is, pain teaches you in ways comfort never could. It builds resilience. It toughens your mindset. It forces you to get resourceful, to figure it out, to push through. And once you realize you can feel pain and keep moving anyway, you become unstoppable. The reason most people don't get what they want is because they're not willing to hurt for it. They want the body but not the workouts. They want the business but not the late nights and failed launches. They want the relationship but not the hard conversations. They want the rewards without the risk, but you can't have one without the other. If you want to win big, you've got to bleed a little. That's just the trade. Pain is the test. It asks you, how bad do you really want it? Are you going to fold when it gets heavy, or are you going to double down? Are you going to let this break you or build you? Are you going to use this pain as your excuse or as your fuel? Because that's the choice every time, so don't resent the pain. Respect it. Let it sharpen you. Let it humble you. Let it drive you. If you're in pain right now, good. That means you're in the middle of something that matters. That means you're growing. That means you're still in the game. Don't waste the pain. Own it. Harness it. Use it. Complaining is a waste of time. It's one of the most destructive habits people develop when things don't go their way. It feels good in the moment. It gives you an outlet. It makes you feel like you're doing something, but you're not. You're just talking. You're just venting energy that could be spent fixing the problem. Every second you spend complaining is a second you're not solving, not improving, not adapting, not moving forward. Complaining is passive, action is aggressive. And the difference between people who win and people who stay stuck is simple. Winners take action, complainers talk about why they can't. You'll never meet someone who's truly successful who spends their days whining. Not because their life is perfect, but because they know complaining does nothing, zero ROI. It doesn't change the past, it doesn't fix the issue, it just traps you in it. It makes you a victim of your own story. And when you live in that mindset, where life is always happening to you, you lose your power. You stop looking for solutions because you're too busy pointing fingers. You stop growing because you're addicted to blame. The problem with complaining is it gives you just enough emotional relief to avoid making a real change. It's like junk food for your brain. It tastes good in the moment, but it makes everything worse in the long run. You complain about your boss, but you won't upgrade your skills or build something on the side. You complain about your fitness, but you won't change your habits. You complain about not having time, but somehow spend hours scrolling, talking, doing everything except what actually matters. You already know what needs to be done. You're just avoiding it by hiding behind words. People love to complain about things they can control. That's the craziest part. If you can control it, stop complaining and change it. If you can't control it, stop complaining and adapt to it. Those are the only two options. Everything else is a waste of your energy. When you complain, you're giving power to your problems, you're feeding them. You're telling your brain, this is where I live now. And the longer you stay in that place, the harder it is to get out. There's nothing noble about being negative. There's no trophy for being the most upset about your situation. Life doesn't reward you for pointing out what's wrong. It rewards people who fix things. It rewards people who turn pain into fuel. People who look at the chaos and say, cool, let's build something anyway. That's strength. That's mindset, that's leadership, not sitting around in a circle talking about how unfair everything is. And the truth is, most of the people you're complaining to, they don't care. They're either dealing with their own mess or they're secretly hoping you'll stop talking. That's the harsh truth. The world has enough noise. What it needs is problem solvers. What it needs is people who take responsibility. Because when you take responsibility, you take control. You stop waiting. You stop blaming, you get to work. Complaining is emotional laziness. It's easier to complain than to change. It's easier to blame than to take accountability. But nothing changes until you do. If you want different results, you need different actions. And that means letting go of the story that keeps you stuck. That means shutting down the pity party and getting brutally honest with yourself. Where are you falling short? What can you do better? What can you control right now that you're choosing to ignore? That's the shift. That's when things start moving, when you stop using your energy to describe the problem and start using it to attack the solution. Your situation may not be your fault, but your response to it is your responsibility. You can't always control what happens, but you can always control your reaction. That's where your power is, not in words, but in actions. Look, venting once in a while is human. We all do it. But if you live in that mode, where complaining is your default response to everything, you're building an identity around weakness, and that's dangerous. You're reinforcing to yourself that life is just happening to you, and there's nothing you can do about it. That mindset kills progress, it kills creativity, it kills self-belief, because if you believe everything is someone else's fault, you also believe you have no ability to change it, and once you believe that, you've already lost. You want to win, stop complaining and start building, start planning, start doing. Every time you catch yourself complaining, redirect it. Replace the complaint with a question, what can I do about it? That one question alone changes the trajectory of your life. Because now you're not helpless, now you're not stuck, now you're in motion, and here's the truth, when you really start working, when you start solving, when you start building a life that you're proud of, you won't have time to complain. You'll be too busy improving, too focused on growth, too obsessed with execution, Complaining becomes irrelevant when you're committed to progress. So the next time you feel like complaining, stop, breathe. Act, do one thing that moves you forward, because progress kills complaints, action kills excuses, and ownership, full, brutal, honest ownership, is the fastest way to get unstuck. Complaining is a waste of time. Creating isn't. Choose wisely. Be obsessed with action, not with planning, not with talking, not with hoping, with action. That's the only thing that moves your life forward. That's the only thing that builds momentum. Ideas are easy. Everyone has ideas. Everyone has dreams. Everyone wants something. But the people who actually get what they want, the people who actually build something real, are the ones who are addicted to doing, not just thinking. You can have the best strategy in the world, the most detailed plan, the perfect morning routine, but if you're not moving, it's all just potential. You can't cash potential. The market doesn't care how well you've prepared or how badly you want it. It only cares what you execute, what you bring to life, what you actually do. Action is the filter. It separates the people who talk from the people who transform. Being obsessed with action means you don't overthink. You don't hesitate. You don't let perfection slow you down. You move fast, often, imperfectly, because motion creates clarity. You learn more from doing one messy rep than from reading 50 perfect theories. The real education is in the execution. It's in making mistakes. It's in adjusting in real time. It's in shipping the product, recording the video, sending the pitch, making the call, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's not fully ready. Overthinking is the killer of momentum. So many people are waiting for the right time, the right mood, the right version of themselves to finally begin, but that version is never coming. The only way to become that version is to act your way into it. You don't wait to be confident. You build confidence through reps. You don't wait to feel ready. You get ready by doing. Every time you move, you build belief. Every time you act, you learn. And the faster you learn, the faster you grow. Action also kills fear. Fear thrives in delay. The longer you wait, the scarier it feels. But the second you step into it, the fear loses power. Your brain realizes, wait, that wasn't as bad as I imagined, and the next time gets easier. Not because the thing is less scary, but because you are more courageous. You've trained your mind to lean in, not pull back. That mindset is everything. You can't outsource your action. You can't delegate your dreams. Nobody is going to do it for you. It's on you every single day, and the scary part, the boring part, the uncomfortable part, that's where the results are. You want a different life, then you've got to live differently. Think differently, move differently, not once, not when it's convenient, but consistently, obsessively, relentlessly. Being obsessed with action doesn't mean you never rest. It means you never stall. You know when to rest and when to reset, but you never use thinking as a substitute for doing. You don't get stuck in your head for days. You don't let resistance win. You act even when it's inconvenient. You show up even when it's hard, because that's what separates the pros from the amateurs. Amateurs wait for motivation. Pros build systems. They move no matter what. You have to fall in love with the process of doing. Because results take time, growth is slow, and if you're only in love with the outcome, you'll quit when it doesn't come fast enough. But if you're obsessed with action itself, if you take pride in the reps, in the small wins, in the effort, then you become unstoppable. Because the process becomes the reward, and when you enjoy the grind, no one can outlast you. Obsession is not a bad thing when it's aimed in the right direction. People will call you crazy for how hard you work. Let them, that's a good sign. You're doing what they won't, so you'll live how they can't. Let them laugh, let them question you. Just keep showing up, keep moving, keep stacking action, because eventually the results will speak so loud you won't have to. You need urgency, not anxiety, but urgency, a deep inner fire that says, I don't have time to waste. Because you don't. Every day you hesitate is a day you don't get back. Every excuse, every delay, every I'll start tomorrow pushes your dream one step further away. People act like they have forever. You don't. The clock is ticking, the window is closing, and the longer you wait, the more average becomes your ceiling. So act, obsess over execution, not because it's easy. But because the life you want demands it, because nobody is coming to save you, because talking doesn't count, only action builds empires, only action changes your life. And once you fall in love with the doing, once you start trusting that messy action beats perfect hesitation every time, you'll realize this is the edge, this is the advantage, this is how you win. Be obsessed with action. Every day, every hour, every moment, keep building, keep moving. Let the world watch you work. Let your actions speak so loudly they drown out the doubt, the fear, and the noise, because at the end of the day, it's not about what you said you'd do. It's about what you actually did.